Assassin's Creed Mirage is finally here, and it contains some secrets, including some bits of a certain language that appear at times in the game. If you have started the game or if you have clicked this video, you might already know what this is about, but just in case, here is a huge spoiler warning, as we are also going to briefly touch upon some events taking place at the end of the game. So be sure to watch only if you have already completed the game or if you are okay with being spoiled. Alright, with that out of the way, let's dive right in and have a look at the first secrets of Assassin's Creed Mirage. So yes, Mirage does feature a few sentences in the Isu language, some at the start of the game, some at the end, and in this video we have prepared our own translation to the best of our capabilities as usual. The Isu sentences appear in two pivotal moments of the game. The first one is in the first section in Anbar at the end of the mission, in which Basim and Nihal try to steal the Caliph's chest or its content for the Hidden Ones. As it happens, Basim is indeed able to find the box, he opens it and he sees the memory disk or memory seal, which is a precursor relic we have already seen in Assassin's Creed Revelations that can contain memories after they have been stored in it. When this specific disc activates, Basim sees some flashy holograms that actually start speaking in the Isu language. The first male voice comes from an Isu standing in front of another one who is on his knees. So here we have our first sentence that, if converted to the Isu script, should look like this. I say should because, as it was the case in the past, we don't have a 100% clear idea of how to interpret the letters and sounds from the dialogues in the game compared to the romanization of the Isu language that we know of. Plus, some words are completely new here, and as of now we haven't been able to find any cipher within the game or on the collector's box as it happened for Valhalla. So for now we will be able to only translate the words we know, but we'll also try and guess some of the ones we don't know based on the context, the grammar that we already know, and something else that we were able to find. So in this specific sentence we can translate almost all the words apart from the fourth one, so let's get it out of the way by saying that it's in the dative case and it's a noun, but like we said, we don't have any other clue about its meaning, and the in-game script could lead to several different interpretations of the words in the Isu language, so our guess is for it to be written like this. With that out of the way, as we did in our past videos, we have the verb in the second person singular present tense, and its root we already know, it is to announce, or less formally, to say. We then have the subject, that is you, the direct object of the verb, which is the noun derived from the verb to name, and as such we translate it as name, and the adjective of the direct object, which is your. So the first man is asking the one on his knees to say his own name to something or someone, and to this request the second man answers with Again, in this case we don't know all the words at play here, but we have enough to get more or less the gist of it. Again, as in the previous sentence, we have the verb, which in this case is to be. The verb to be is usually tied to its predicative, which here is able. In front of be able we also see un, which works as a negation of the verb, so we have not be able. The subject is I, and thus this means I am not able or I can't. At this point we only missed these three words. This one, ru or ur, is the particle that introduces verbs in their infinitive form, and in this case it should work like I am not able to ... This one is a word we have always known as an article, but we hypothesize it may also work as a pronoun, even if it does not look conjugated in its accusative case. Lastly, we don't know the final word that we are missing, but from the mood of the sentence, we get that the man on his knees is not able to meet the first man's request, as he says, I'm not able to some verb and then it. Something like I can't do it, but we already have the verb to do, or I can't pronounce it, or any variation of that. We hypothesize the verb could also be something like to remember, as in I can't remember it, The issue with that is that we already know the word for memory, which is smurmun, which doesn't seem too close to the word used here, which is mess. But at the same time, mess really resembles the Proto-Indo-European root of mer, which is the ancestral word for remember, and the Isu language in the lore is at the base of the Proto-Indo-European languages, so yeah, just a guess at this point though. Now let's move on to the second scene in Mirage containing some Isu script. This time it's even more spoilerish as it comes from the game's ending, so once again here's another spoiler warning just in case. This scene happens when Basim enters the temple at the end of the game and realizes he is housing the memories of someone else from the past, of course Loki's memories. Another disc gets activated and we get to see Loki being imprisoned in an Isu machine while he's screaming, and a guard, or possibly somebody more important, reaching him and hitting him. So the first sentence in the Isu language from this sequence comes from Loki inside of the machine. So here is the sentence converted in the Isu script that we are more familiar with, and honestly at the beginning we were scratching our head on this one, with a lot of guesswork about many of the words here, until we realized that the game itself provides the translation for this sentence. In fact, just a few moments prior to this, when Basim opens the machine, we see Nihal saying, "Enough, let me out of here," and considering Nihal is the representation of Loki's essence within Basim, this is the sentence that prisoner Loki was uttering while being held in the machine. In terms of Isu language, and going back to the sentence, we have our verb, second singular, present tense, from the verb to allow. The subject of the sentence is you and the direct object is me. We then have you allow me, which very much seems to be an imperative form. As for our previous sentence, this particle goes with the verb in its infinitive form, and based on the sentence screened by Nihal, this verb, laig, should mean something along the lines of to exit, so that the sentence can mean allow me to exit, which would have the same exact meaning as let me out. Also, to confirm that this is the proper meaning to the word, we have searched for the Proto-Indo-European roots for let out, or leave, or exit, and it should be lake, which is not so different from laig, and thus showed the proper work that was done on the Isu language in this case. Finally, we have the first word of the sentence, which is completely new to us, but based on the sentence by Nihal, this is enough, and it allows us to complete our sentence. After this sentence, we see a guard screaming this. Status! Again, our translation attempt is a guess, but an educated one at that, because we know this is an adjective-derived noun, and it sounds like the guard is trying to shut Loki up to make him stop screaming. For this reason, we thought of giving this word the meaning of silence, but also because the Proto-Indo-European root for silent or silence is indeed sail, which again makes so much sense. And as far as we know, that's it for the Isu language script and dialogue in Assassin's Creed Mirage, because after this the game provides even more revelations, but for which these translations are actually key in understanding what is really happening here, which is something that we're going to try and analyze in our upcoming story analysis. But before that, we have way more Assassin's Creed Mirage content coming your way, including a first non-spoiler review of the game, where we share our opinions on the positive and negative aspects of the game. Thanks for watching, a huge thanks to our ATA insiders who keep supporting us at every step of the way. You guys are legends, and I'll see you all in our next video.